St. Louis saw renewed protests over the weekend as demonstrators rallied against police violence in the wake of another police killing in the area. The newest protests, labeled Ferguson October, included a major march in downtown St. Louis, while previous protests had been more focused at the sites of the killings. Protests had calmed in recent weeks in comparison to those that followed the shooting of unarmed 18-year-old Michael Brown, who was killed by Officer Darren Wilson in Ferguson. But that changed after an off-duty officer shot 18-year-old Vonderett D. Myers, who police allege exchanged fire with the officer, although family members and some witnesses say Myers was unarmed. The latest protests were largely peaceful and came with a number of panels and services highlighting the cause of social justice, as well as a concert planned for Sunday. It's impossible to ignore the protests come during a big weekend for St. Louis sports fans. The Cardinals started off baseball's National League Championship Series against the San Francisco Giants while protesters were demonstrating downtown.
You know, October in St. Louis usually means baseball, and of course that's happening this weekend. He said you'll see several officers around the stadiums, more officers this time around than usual.
A writer for the Los Angeles Times noted the contrast between the pride of the city over the Cardinals and the continuing racial tensions, writing, "Lines have also been drawn between the region's fervent Cardinals fan base and passionate demonstrators calling for an end to police shootings."
Let's go, Darren! Justice for Mike!
A clash between protesters and some Cardinals fans made news earlier in the week as some fans hurled racist insults at protesters, though some fans sided with protesters as well. One of the images that stuck in the minds of several demonstrators and journalists was that of water in the fountain in Keener Plaza dyed red for the Cardinals, eerily resembling blood. With the grand jury decision on whether or not to press charges against Officer Darren Wilson expected in November, there's a lack of closure for protesters, and fears over what could happen should charges not be pressed continue.
And these people, exhausted physically and emotionally drained, have this psychic toll that's taken on them. They are still there, and people are still showing up, and it will intensify the longer this goes on.
Events are planned to continue through Monday when protesters will conduct a day of civil disobedience across St. Louis. For Newsy, I'm Sebastián Martínez.